Are you a single parent? If you are, this video is right for is so for you. It's a needed message. So we have all had children. We have never thought in our head, oh, we're gonna raise this child by ourselves. But it happens. You meet a guy, you guys fall in love, you guys decide to have a child together, and then the shit hit the fan, and then the relationship is stuck, and you go your separate ways, and you keep your child because you want to raise your child. And then the unthinkable happens where he no longer wants to be a part of your life, and now you're left with doing everything. I mean 100%. And single parent doesn't mean that you have someone helping you raise a child, because it's two different things. Single parent is when you're doing everything for yourself, and this is very debatable, so let me know. But if you have your significant other and both of you are raising a child, doing it together, that's not really single parent in my eyes. So I'm speaking of the single parents that don't have the father figure, that don't have the father figure in the house, or don't have the woman figure in the house. Then they're doing everything. They're attending all the games, they're attending all the programs at school, they're doing everything. They're at the hospital when the child is sick, they're at all the doctor's appointments, and there's no other parent. Those are the parents I'm speaking of on this platform today. So if you are one of those people and you fit the criteria, here are some tips on how to raise your child successfully in a single parent home. So for one, never talk negatively about the parent. If you know that the parent is a bum, if you know that the parent is a horrible human being, if you know that the parent told you they are not going to do anything for the child that you and them share, don't speak ill of the parent in front of the child. Always have these conversations privately with the other person, or if you're venting to a family member, never vent in the earshot of the child, because that would in turn leave a negative impact on the child. And you don't want to do that. And it affects the child in many ways. The child may not like what you're saying and feel like you're the problem when you are not. On the flip side, the child may side with you that's speaking negatively of the person and hate the other parent that's absent in their life. But why do we want to taint the perception of the parent to the child? Because eventually they're going to see the parent for who they really are. So there's no need for you to actually influence their thought. Kids are not stupid. Kids are very smart. They feel energy and they understand what's going on. So never speak negatively about the child parent in front of the child or in earshot of the child. Before I go further into this, I just want you to know that I am not an expert in this topic. However, I have experience education-wise. I have a BA in psychology, and I did clinical studies in college, talk about child development. So I have some educational background to, along with the education, I have firsthand experience because I am a single parent that I can share about this topic. So I just want to put that out there in case you're like, who gave her the right to talk about this, you know? Anyway, so that's that. The next thing, and these are for my baddies, my 40 plus baddies, because we got to stop using the child as a pawn. And I'm going to give the example from a woman's perspective. You and the man are not together. You break up with the man. You're using the child as a pawn to get back at the man. You're doing stuff like, oh, you're not going to see your child if you don't give me this. You're not going to see your child if you don't sleep with me. No, why? If the man don't want you, using the child as a pawn is not going to get you closer to the man. In turn, it's only going to hurt the child in the long run. Because one, the parent that they love that's not there, that they're trying to figure out why the parent is not there anymore, they're going to feel like it's them. They did something wrong why the parent don't want to come around anymore. They're going to internalize that. And it's going to lead to like a snowball effect later on in their life. So we should never do that. And I know this is a hard pill to swallow, but hear me when I say, even if the man is not giving you $1 for the child, even if you have to struggle by yourself and you don't have any money, you are low on funds, you don't have enough food, if that man wants to see that child, allow him to see that child. If that woman wants to see that child, men, allow her to see the child. Just think about it, that you're helping your child is going to be beneficial. And if you have issues where the parent is always promising the child something, and the child is at the door waiting, and they're getting frustrated because the parent is not there, and there's false promises, the child is going to realize, I have a cousin where his father did that, and he remembers at the big age that he is, 40, he remembers that. Nobody had to tell him. He came to me and said, you remember when my father used to say he's gonna come, and I'm waiting with my jacket at the door and he never show up? It's the father's loss. And then the father got again to his life later on when he was older, and my cousin shunned him because you was never there as a parent. Why you want to be here now? When you didn't do anything to raise me, why you want to be here? So allow the child to see the person for who they are. Do not show the child that. Let them see for themselves. And you know the saying, you can't lead a horse to water. They have to get there themselves. I know you're trying to prepare your child. I know you're trying to protect your child, but it's not going to work in your favor if you do it that way. The next thing is to be patient. And when I say be patient, I mean, don't be frustrated. I know times are hard. I know money is scarce, but be patient. It's easy to get frustrated. It's easy when your child is coming to you asking for you 1,000,001 things. It's easy to get frustrated when you're being pulled in every which direction. Your child, the school is calling, you got to pick up your child. You're at work, your boss don't want you to take off. You're trying to figure it out because you need the money for your bills, and you don't know what to do. And then sometimes your frustration is displaced and you take it out on your child when they don't need that in their life. It's hard enough that they only have one parent to talk to. So think about that. If you're frustrated, have an outlet. Have a neighbor, have a friend that you can take time off away from your child to scream. I'm not saying run away. I'm saying a few hours where you just need to recenter and be with yourself. So use that time to reflect so you don't displace your anger towards your child. And the last thing is, don't be selfish. The child wasn't asked to be born. The child was not asked to be here. You brought them forth. Don't be selfish. Put your child in front of you. It would help them in the long run. I have many friends that when they grow up, they talk about everything that used to happen in their household, where their mom would do this, their father would do this, and it helped in the long run. For example, I had a friend that she would say, oh, my mom made sure that if I didn't like the meat that was being cooked, she made me something else. You know, that was her mom pleasing her. And in turn, she does that with her child. She would say, no, my mom, if I didn't like the food, my mom will fix me something else because my mom wanted me to eat. That was her mom not being selfish and understanding that her child at a young age have rights and have feelings and should be heard. So don't be selfish towards your child. Put them first, speak to them, understand what they're coming from, and raise them to be strong, successful human beings. That's what we're here to do. So in turn, do remember the child is very smart, the child understands, and the child may internalize why that other parent is not there. Remember, never paint the parent in a negative light. That child will come to you one day and tell you they understand what you was trying to hide from them, and they would appreciate you even more that you never spoke ill of the other parent that's absent. Until next video, enjoy your day.